Platner and Talarico, two just glorious figures, reoccurring characters on the Ruthless Variety program.
Talarico stuff is like, dude.
Where do they find these guys?
And like, this is, Schumer handpicked this clown. There is something super unsettling about this guy. Like when he said that thing in that interview where he's like, I'm always thinking about like, I love trans kids.
He should just stop lying because he's really bad at it.
So Graham Platner's like, you know what? Hold my beer.
Yeah, he's like, I can't let this guy get ahead of us.
There has not been a week since you've known my name that I haven't given you something.
Oh.
And now I'm going to give you a real heavy dose.
When you get a dude who shows up at these things and he's like, I'm an ally. That's like the number one sign of a predator. Likely worst Senate candidate of all time.
Of all time.
The big three mobile carriers control massive amounts of licensed spectrum. Now they want the shared airwaves your Wi-Fi depends on too. They're brazenly pushing to reclaim the unlicensed spectrum that the first Trump administration allocated for the Wi-Fi that powers our connected lives. That's not competition. That's rigging the game. Shared spectrum is what keeps Wi-Fi open, affordable, and widely available. Big Mobile's backdoor effort puts that advantage at risk, and it's happening at exactly the wrong time. America is in a technology race with China, and we're winning in Wi-Fi innovation. Wi-Fi carries 90% of our mobile data and gives America the infrastructure to meet AI's growing demands. Don't let the big three mobile carriers turn America's Wi-Fi advantage into their private toll road. Protect the innovation spectrum policies that keep America ahead. Learn more at ncta.com/Wi-Fi wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
This program has become one of the most influential podcasts in America.
I love the personality. You guys are killing it. I just saw you're number one. So congratulations.
It's an honor and a pleasure to welcome the great Sean Hannity.
Guys, I love you. Congratulations on all your success.
This is why you listen to the Ruthless podcast, because nobody else would ask that question. The only political podcast worth listening to is the Ruthless podcast.
It's time for our main event.
The Ruthless Podcast.
Fun Time Friday. Welcome back to the Ruthless Friday program. I'm Josh Holmes, along with Comfortably Smug, Michael Duncan, and John Ashbrook. Left to right across your radio dial. It is indeed going to be a fun time. There was a lot to choose from this week because the Democrats, they had primaries, and then we've already covered the host of candidates that they've tried to put out and have gotten through primaries. And it was like a real piecing of things together. I hope everybody enjoyed yesterday's show. I know we had a good time putting that one together, just how insane the New York contingency is. But it sort of edged out Platner and Talarico, two just glorious figures, reoccurring characters on the Ruthless Variety program. And they have more.
Also, especially, I mean, we'll get to it. The Talarico stuff is like, dude.
Where do they find these guys?
And like, this is, Schumer handpicked this clown. Yeah. This is Schumer's kid, and like, really?
So like, look, I understand midterms are challenging. There's 120 years of electoral history. When you're the party in power, you lose 16 to 18 seats. I know the math. I'm just not sure that anybody's fielded a crew of candidates that are as fucking horrible as Democrats are. And it's an embodiment of what the Democratic Party has become. It's not like they've just had, like Republicans in 2010, 2012, when they had that sort of rash of the Todd Aikens and the Witch and Sharon Angle and all those. Like that was just a rough batch of recruits. Right?
Yeah.
Like
those are two cycles specifically where it was like, all of a sudden, we have good chances. Then all of a sudden, we get like 2 or 3 nightmare candidates that you're like, how did this happen? And they just try to drag the whole team down with them.
Well, okay, so
now Dems, it feels like, are way worse. Like in 2014, when I got involved with candidate recruitment, we straightened that shit out.
Yeah, right.
That was the history.
Brought down the hammer.
I think the one difference, though, guys, is like in that instance.
We didn't choose them.
Yeah, and Sharon Angle, she was not a great campaigner, right? And Todd Aikens said something he shouldn't have said. Like, I think the biggest loser of the week is Democratic researchers who are unable to get some of this opposition research out before the primary.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this stuff was all in their file somewhere.
Yeah.
And
You think
now
so?
it's the Republicans' turn to start getting this opposition research out.
You're right. It's amazing that you're still finding things out about Talarico.
I really would have
in
thought
particular.
Dude, this first Talarico thing is just, to me, it like the reason I brought up the Schumer thing is it's so egregious. I really think they just didn't find it, because if
Somebody
you saw
had
this,
I don't know.
you're not running this guy in Texas.
He's a career politician.
Yeah.
So
he's
every
been around a long
Democrat in
time.
Texas knows who he is. I mean, Texas is a pretty big state. There are a lot of people who live there, including a lot of Democrats. You can't – there have to be 1,000 Democrats who are in a better position to run for Senate than this guy.
Yeah.
They couldn't get one of them.
we should just run the clip.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with clip one.
Yeah, and that's, I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity, right? And like I always get drawn back into it.
Oh, is that so? A Christian that hates Christianity. Remember what the Democrats loved about this guy was that they understood that they had abandoned the center of the country and the values-based electorate, even where their policies somehow intersect with the working class, or so they think, that they didn't have any spokespeople who actually believed the things that they believe. And they're like, look, this guy talks about the Bible. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, remember there was like 3 months of Democrats like rejoicing that they had found somebody who talks about the Bible.
Turns out he just hates it. Like the thing is again, Schumer, this is the kind of guy you run for like a congressional seat in New York City. If he says like, I hate Christianity, that's a Mamdani endorsement.
Yeah, I
Done.
love that.
Done. Yeah. He's got a shot there.
For sure.
But if you're running in Texas and you're like, I just got to get this off my chest. I hate Christianity. That's not going to fly. That's not a great message.
Well, every one of these guys, though, it's like, what I've said about Platner is that he's a rich guy's idea of what a poor person is like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Talarico is a progressive leftist's idea of what a religious person is like.
Yeah,
you're
Dude,
right.
that's a good comparison.
He said this on a podcast. It's not like an op-ed he wrote for a student newspaper when he was in high school.
Offered it up.
Like, how did they not have this?
He wasn't. You didn't have to go search senior thesis
Right.
to find this.
And there's even more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. Clip 2.
I have to work with folks who have passed these policies that threaten the existence of people that I love. Now, they don't threaten my existence for the most part, but they threaten the existence of my friends, my loved ones. And when I got elected, I went searching for those monsters, right? I got elected to the state house. And I was like, all right, I'm ready to find these monstrous people who passed these, the show me your papers legislation, right? The bathroom bill.
So for context, what he is talking about there is folks who oppose letting men into little girls' rooms.
Kids' bathrooms.
He calls them monsters.
You don't want
They're the monsters.
You don't want to creep in your child's bathroom. You're a monster.
That's the thing.
You're the one that's wrong.
It's just so odd. And like this all goes back to like, I don't know what the hell he actually stands for. If he's just like an extremely odd guy, I think like he strikes me. I have no factual basis to believe.
Here we go.
But whenever you see the like documentaries and they're like, and that man was Jeffrey Dahmer, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a weird, slight looking
Like there's
dude.
a big reveal that he's serial killing.
Oh, then they're like, they went to his house and they opened the fridge and there's like
Head.
10 people in there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
There was
he's-
something unsettling.
There is something super unsettling about this guy. Like when he said that thing in that interview where he's like, I'm always thinking about like, I love trans kids. You know what I mean? Like I was like, Cash, get the warrant. Go through his internet search history.
I also can we play that clip again? I'll tell you when to stop it.
I have to work with folks who have passed these policies that threaten the existence of people that I love. Now, they don't threaten my existence for the most part.
All right, stop it there. For the most part. What part?
What part is he talking about that's not the most part?
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Bro.
You can't get one past the old man.
Dude, that's crazy.
I picked up this. You're right, Dunks.
I didn't pick that up.
Because
Let's talk about that.
Because
You
the
know,
basis
James?
of what he says is that because he's a white man, that he doesn't suffer the same kind of scrutiny that all of his brothers and sisters in the Latino community, and the gay community, and the LGBT and trans and whatever. So what part of it is that they don't?
I don't know.
Attack?
There are many rumors in Texas about what community he's a part of.
Is that right?
And that he feels he can't publicly acknowledge because he thinks it would hurt his chances. But if you're saying that you hate Christianity, that's hurting your chances. You might as well say it all. Come on, James, just say it all.
He met his girlfriend in a gay bar.
Hey,
He didn't say. I didn't say that. He did.
We are just stating facts.
That's what he said.
Unsettling. He's an unsettling guy.
Dude, super unsettling.
It's very unsettling. Not to be outdone. I mean, he's got more. Clip 3.
It's very strange every time I think about it that the most popular figure in our country, particularly on the conservative right, is this, socialist anarchist from ancient Palestine.
And for folks who don't get what the hell he's talking about, he's referring to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
As a socialist anarchist.
It's from Palestine.
From Palestine.
So he trips the 3 top Democrat talking points right now.
Bing, bang, boom.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Jesus, yeah, he's here. He's Palestinian. He's trans. He's anarchist. Like, he's all the things that they want him to be.
He's the most insufferable progressive, junior church leader. That's who he is. He's like the one with the rainbow pride sash on, giving lectures to the kids about progressive Christianity. I find those people insufferable.
Do they? I haven't really encountered a lot of them.
I've seen them.
Have you?
Well, have you ever been traveling and go to a service on Sunday where you don't normally attend? I've run into some of these.
I generally try to avoid stuff where I would have a lecture about Palestinian trans anarchists.
Well, you know your friend. I have left churches before.
Oh, have you? Yeah. Really?
Yes. I mean, quietly.
But that's...
I want to be respectful.
Sure. Not like Don Lemon style, but like... No, I mean, it's a hard thing for most of us to conceive of an upbringing in a social structure that supports the things that this guy says on a day-to-day basis. Like, it seems almost such a niche constituency of things in Texas that it's like, I don't know where do you come from, dude?
Yeah. And that's the thing is, at the end of the day, this guy is running statewide in Texas. Mm-hmm. And if I'm Jasmine Crockett, I would be furious. Like, we'll probably get into it next week. She's been coming up publicly with how unhappy she is with the way that turned out. And she's now coming to the realization that the establishment essentially just stabbed her in the back, threw her overboard. And she hasn't come out and said that she supports Talarico's campaign. Mm. She's been telling folks apparently in Texas, do not support.
Really?
She's been
because she knows
there's people close to her who've been going out in Texas and being like, Black community do not do not stand with Talarico because of XYZ reasons that Chuck Schumer is very litigious about protecting James Talarico for. Jazzy Jazz has been spreading the word in Texas about those communities that he's a part of that he will not publicly acknowledge, but Chuck Schumer will sue you if you discuss.
Would those be things that he thinks that they're fit into the for the most part caveat?
I think that's exactly right.
Oh, you think?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm
just trying to do the math on this guy because it's hard.
Yeah.
He's a unique character.
Yeah.
He is the nominee for Senate in the great state of Texas. It's really hard to believe. So Graham Platner's like, you know what? Hold my beer.
Yeah, he's like, I can't let this guy get a headline.
There has not been a week since you've known my name that I haven't given you something.
Oh.
And now I'm going to give you a real heavy dose. One of which I will say I'm very reluctant to cover here.
No, you're not.
I am. You think I want to read that?
Yeah.
You do.
Yes.
That's outrageous. It's a slander, but I'm not going to start with that. This is, I think Smash always has this fun conception of this issue for Democrats because Planned Parenthood is an abortion store. It always has been. But Democrats, in their realization that just pure abortion for abortion's sake, wherever you are on like the pro-life, abortion spectrum, like just having a federally funded abortion store is not like the most popular thing. So 10, 15 years ago, they started obfuscating it and calling it like women's health. And then it was like reproductive health. And it's still an abortion store.
Yeah.
But you had to open the aperture on what it is that they do for a living.
The PR campaign began where they redefined what Planned Parenthood did into things like mammograms.
Yeah.
Right?
Just
remember that?
If you need your appendix out, you can go there.
Yeah.
If you have strep throat, it's a minute clinic.
Right.
Okay. It's just like going to CVS.
Or if you like take a step back and just think about how Orwellian that it's called Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
And it's precisely the opposite of that.
Yeah, it's planning to not have
Pretty
parenthood.
unplanned. In fact, they're going to not plan to have children.
So anyway, Platner, who's a committed leftist, has to speak to this at some level and in a way that is not just an abortion store. So clip 4.
Part of that, as many of you know, is that I firmly believe in a universal health care system. I believe in it because I have in many ways received it with my VA benefits. But I will also say that many of my female friends and my wife throughout their lives have received some form of that same kind of support from Planned Parenthood. I have friends who even today get primary care through Planned Parenthood. I myself, at a younger age, received what's the word? I got STI checks. At the Portland Planned Parenthood.
Okay, so
you're feeling sick. You go in for a checkup. It's just like going to the doctor. They do everything there.
Primary
imaging.
Care. Get out of here. Primary care.
It's just bullshit. They've been doing this for 15 years.
But he's talking about how he used Planned Parenthood to go get an STD check,
and he first had treatment.
He had treatment.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
it was a slip I caught.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
He got like halfway through that journey I'm going to be a firsthand witness to the greatness of the care. And then he realized that the story that verifies his personal interaction is probably not great, standing in front of 15 women in the backdrop of the last 3 weeks where I've taken heat over sexual and physical assault of women.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, oh, yeah, when I blew out the gonorrhea, that's the first place I went.
That was the story he was telling. He's like, when I got treatment, what's the word I'm looking for? That's how, dude, that is a tell that someone's lying. When their brain was starting to tell the truth and they're like, wait a minute, and they have to like take a beat and try to figure out how to cover up the lie.
Like, oh,
they're about
shit.
to say that was he got caught.
I mean, I want to play the clip one more time just because you can see his face. At the moment he realizes that he's like,
yep,
into it.
He's like, wait, don't tell them this.
Here, clip 4, just one more time, and I'm not going to bore you with
this. I have friends who even today get primary care.
But for those of you on video,
primary care.
I myself, at a younger age, received
here we go.
Treatment.
I got STI checks. at the Portland Planned Parenthood.
I mean, that's you can see his face like,
yeah, 100%. What this guy's just said.
He should just stop lying because he's really bad at it.
Yeah.
He's just like, he is what has been reported.
I think this guy's
a monster.
At this point, he just enjoys it. It's just love of the game. He's just lying because he just loves it.
We get a whole host of ladies there, again, with the backdrop of reports.
And that's 100%
credible stories.
Because of that.
And first-person testimonials about alleged sexual and physical assault of previous women and infidelity and all kinds of stuff. All in the last 3 weeks. And somehow there's 15 white ladies standing there with Planned Parenthood signs like, go, Graham. You have our best interests in mind. Dude, that's how broken the libs are.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, for the longest time, it's become a meme of like, when you get a dude who shows up at these things and he's like, I'm an ally. I mean, that's like the number one sign of a predator. You know what I mean?
Dude,
if a
totally
dude slinks up and he's like, I'm an ally, it's like, okay. Yeah. Let's search this guy's record. Let's do a background check on this guy.
There's a great Always Sunny episode in which Dennis shows up to an abortion rally, like that's pro women's rights. And it's precisely that, Smug.
Yeah.
Like he's just trying to get laid.
Just a predator.
Yeah.
In a group that he has sort of pre-cultivated to have some success.
Yeah.
It's so terrible. It's awful. All right. So this is where my reluctance begins.
Before we begin, for my mother and my mother-in-law who listen to the show, feel free to get that like 5-minute fast.
Yes, Mom, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do this.
You're all wonderful folks.
None of us wanted
This was
to do it.
Holmes pushing this.
No.
And I think he should take responsibility.
Here's what this is about. We are a news and information opinion show. And we cover politics. And it is important for people, whether or not things are nice to hear or not, to know what it is that these people have as a perspective on things. This is a gentleman that, if you didn't take our word for it, you just saw do a nice rally with 15 women who was talking about the great women's health movements, right? Deep respect for women, according to Graham Platner. I think it's incumbent upon us, when something comes in the public domain, to just give it a level set for an audience.
You did a really good job of defending this. That's all I'll
I want
say.
you to know I didn't say any of this. In fact, I don't even think I could conceive of what I'm about to read to you. But he did. And it comes from his Reddit account, the P Hustle. And this is the one that, what's his name?
Fetterman.
Fetterman's been trolling him about. He calls him P Hustle or whatever. So there's a post that's like, what's the most fucked up jaw-dropping offensive joke that you know, or whatever. And instead of telling a joke, Graham Platner, and again, this is not my words. I am not saying this. He is. This is what he said. And I think it is of value for you to know this. I was eating out my grandmother and it tasted like horse cum. That's how she died.
Again, surely there are 500 Democrats in the state of Maine who could run for office. How is it that this is their guy? How is it that this is their guy? Isn't there somebody there? Like they have other members of Congress, and like there are people who are accomplished who may not agree with our politics who could run for office as the Democrat, and yet this is the guy they're putting forward.
I'll say this. I really feel that the unifying theme among what binds the Democrats at this point. Like we saw on the show yesterday when we were talking about the unifying thing about all these Zoran candidates that won those primaries is they just hate America. They think they say they want to destroy America. They want to destroy Western civilization. To run as a Dem is essentially a race to be the most vile person alive.
Yeah.
The most broken person alive, which is crazy because all these people come from rich families and have had every luxury handed to them possible. And they turn into the most, maybe it's a result of, the most vile, disgusting, anti-American people who, it's not that you don't want, it's not about do you want them to run, it's like, should they be institutionalized?
No, I mean,
and that's what I feel like is the whole thing that, whether it's Talarico, whether it's Platner, whether it's the Hamas caucus, all these people are basically the most vile, broken humans that can be found in this country. And that's what the progressive, not even progressive, that's what the left-wing Marxist movement is now.
And also anything that you value or find comfort in. Like their goal is just to destroy it.
100%.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think there's something to what Smug said about, that a lot of them came from really good backgrounds. But for these people, I think rebelling against their precondition of life is
part of the gig.
That's part of the gig.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know if I ever had a vision of horse semen make it in onto the program.
I told you all you want to read it.
But in the context of it coming out of the mouth of a Senate candidate, I couldn't have foreseen that. That is an unforeseeable component that we have launched into here. On the
it's like you
Ruthless
said,
Friday program.
likely worst Senate candidate of all time.
Of all time. I mean, it's just incredible, but it's also amazing that he's 6 months on the scene from being on the national spotlight for being an asshole with a Nazi tattoo. And each and every week you got a new submission. I mean, where does the dossier end on this guy?
And Fetterman is the only Democrat who's like, I just don't think we're sending our best here. That's what blows me away.
No, the rest of them have endorsed him.
All of them are like, yeah, Platner. Yeah, he said some things I don't necessarily. Well, he's our guy. Let's send 15 to 20 women to stand behind him at a rally with pink signs and pretend like he actually cares about women. Like, get out of here.
Horse semen Nazis.
They ran over a female governor of the state.
Yeah, I know.
Like, he was the person instead of Janet Mills.
I don't know. It leads us to our question today here on Ruthless Friday program. We always ask you a question. When you like and subscribe, feel free to leave your answer and we get back to the very next episode. The question of the day today is, what's the worst joke you've ever heard? Because
I think I just heard it.
It's not a joke. That's the thing. When somebody prompts you for something like that, like I'll tell the Willie Nelson joke. Like that's the joke that I would go to because it's funny. But this is not a joke. There's no punchline. There's no like funny vignette. There's no like the Willie. Okay, for those of you who are not OGs, I'll tell you.
We're going again.
So for my mother-in-law, it's been 5 minutes, and my mom. Do it another 5.
What's the worst thing you can hear after giving Willie Nelson a blowjob? I'm not Willie Nelson.
It's a good joke.
It is funny.
A good joke.
It's a world-class joke.
Yeah.
It's a world-class joke. Now that, I'd be like, if Platner came up with that, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of funny. Maybe he's got like a different layer. This is not a joke. Anyway, we reach into your bag of jokes to find out what you have to say. Put them right there on the page, and we'll get back to the very next episode. Hopefully, we'll have a real spicy Tuesday as a result of all of that. When we come back, we're going to play a game. We saved it for Friday, King of the Hill, and then we've got a great interview and some variety right after this.
American energy is growing. With a renewed focus on American oil and natural gas, we're rebuilding our industrial strength and driving investment. Energy demand is rising, and the United States has the resources to meet it. Here's the challenge. If we can't build the infrastructure to move that energy, pipelines, transmission lines, and power plants, Americans won't feel the benefits. And while projects stall, China moves faster. Not because America lacks energy, but because Washington's permitting system is outdated and broken. Energy affordability depends on getting energy where it's needed, when it's needed. Yet critical projects remain stuck for years in delays and endless litigation. We have the energy. We have the workforce. Now it's time to build. Let's secure American energy leadership for generations to come. When America builds, America wins. Pass permitting reform now. Learn more at permittingreformnow.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Okay, fellas. So we had something that happened here in studio this week that I think because of the professionalism of everyone involved, it may have gone unnoticed.
I don't think it went unnoticed.
It may have to the audience until right now, where it simply won't be. We're going to point it out in this clip here.
I really believe this is the year that the normal people are going to push back.
Go ahead.
What else are you hearing out there on the trail?
Go ahead.
Look at the sheer amount of liquid.
So for our audio-only listeners, I had just cracked a full can of Celsius. That's the interview with Marty O'Donnell. Great interview, great candidate. Everyone in Nevada, go support Marty. But we're in this interview, and I cracked this entire can. It was a completely full can of Celsius. We start the interview, and I had cut off Ashbrook when Ashbrook's about to ask a question. I was like, no, go ahead. I knock over the entire can like a moron. But what this clip doesn't do justice is a lot of that can got out there on the table and
onto the mics, onto the wires.
No, it didn't get on the mics or the wires. It's this pool of Celsius that's spreading across the table, and Marty is a super pro does not act like it's crazy that there's now a pool of Celsius. Ashbrook, absolute pro, doesn't make a scene, doesn't bring it up. It is
Didn't even really flinch either. It was just kind of like, yep, of
Ashbrook
course
was super chill with it. His sheets on the were completely soaked. It continues. So here's the other thing is, Wolf did a shoddy job assembling this. So if you'll notice, that table's not level. So the ocean of Celsius starts spreading back towards us. And
If you notice the table's not level,
that's
insane.
So the Celsius starts spreading towards the talent, right? And like
towards the talent. This is getting
our side of the table. And so I have like cat-like reflexes. It's gonna start spilling on me, and I carry a handkerchief. I like hit the table with it to keep it from like spilling on. This entire time, Marty and Ashbrook are total pros, not acting like I'm dealing with. I've unleashed a pool of Celsius. When we finish that interview, dude,
it's a mess.
60-70% of this entire table is just under Celsius.
I'm just still taking in the guy who spilled the drink is saying I have cat-like reflexes.
He's the hero. Yeah, he's the hero of this story.
I saved the day.
Awesome. And then poor Wolf's like under the dais.
But that's I think that's the lesson here. It was the lesson that was learned is that like he did not do the correct job leveling the table. When you assemble a table, you have to level it at the end, or else you end up with this. I can't imagine if we had that guy put a pool table together. You know, you rack them up and it's all in the pockets 10 seconds later. But that was,
turning it.
I was
into
embarrassed.
An attack
I felt
on Wolf.
Foolish. But thanks Marty, great candidate. Thanks Ashbrook for being totally cool when I had just like put the entire table under a can of
He
Celsius.
looked a little sheepish when he came out.
It was completely insane.
Did he really?
Yeah, it was like, I can't believe I just did that. All right. Well, we had to spring that one back up. It's too good. All right. You guys want to play a game?
Yeah. Always.
So it's Thursday game on Friday that we're playing King of the Hill. Signature feature presentation here on the program. And I believe I'm a contestant.
Well, you're the defending champ with Cheri My Cheri.
Oh, that's right. Because I got a week hiatus.
You did. Well, I mean, we couldn't play it without you.
Yeah.
Got to respect the belt.
Well, the champion's the champ.
The champ's the champ. And I'm bringing the old fat man. Steve Schmidt.
You're playing my man against me.
I am. Well, you could only have so many. You have Cheri,
seriously,
too.
like, what is that?
Jeez, he's hoarding them over there.
Hoarding them.
And I'm the judge, and I already am frowning upon that.
Oh.
Can't say I'm thrilled with that attitude.
Prejudging.
What a great court. Let's go ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. It's time for King of the Hill. In the red corner, fighting from his own Substack account, the return of the old fat man, Steve Schmidt. And now, in the red corner, fighting from Twitter and who knows where, and current champion of the world, Commie Cheri Jacobus.
10 out of 10 every time.
That was great.
The additional emphasis of when Steve's in the game is just, he just lights up. The old fat man. Okay, Cheri My Cheri is going to lead this bad boy off. Your Honor, I call exhibit number 5. That begins with a misuse of the internet and that she's, quote, tweeting herself. But this is one that I haven't actually heard in the public domain, okay? Trump mysteriously got way more votes than down-ballot Republicans only in swing states, while Kamala Harris mysteriously got way fewer votes than down-ballot Dems only in swing areas. Karl Rove once allegedly told a whistleblower, if a state was within 3% on election night, you could cheat undetected.
Okay.
I mean, this woman made a large part of her coming out party as a dyed-in-the-wool progressive lib attacking Trump for suggesting 2020 was a problem. She is saying that he stole the 2024 election.
It couldn't be as simple as the states where the presidential campaign spent all the money. They got the most votes and Kamala was hated the most, so she didn't get as many votes. It couldn't possibly be
amazing how like that never occurred to her.
Like maybe a campaign had an impact on an outcome. It's possible.
What an idiot.
They're like, in Pennsylvania, where Trump dropped $100 million attacking Kamala Harris.
Her numbers went down.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
It's nowhere like Vermont.
It was Karl Rove.
Great state of Hawaii was totally consistent with
That's
registration.
A hilarious take. Hilarious take.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, well, that kind of scrambles it a little here. That's a great take. Let's go Exhibit 12, please. So, Steve's doing that thing again where he has the graphics for the warning, which I guess is his Substack, branded Substack. I gotta say, just as somebody who's made a lot of graphics in my time for social media.
Not a great one.
It's not a great one. It's just a ton of text to put on a graphic. But here's the tweet. History will judge, this is classic Steve Schmidt. History will judge these little men alongside Donald Trump, not because they exercised independent leadership, but because they chose loyalty over candor, politics over strategy, and performance over statecraft. Subscribe to the warning at steveschmidt.substack.com. Hilarious that he just tags it at the end. He just tags the Substack at the end apropos of nothing. I guess maybe you can read more of these ravings over there. But yeah, that's my submission.
That's the thing is, the really brutal part of this is that you did an amazing job highlighting how stupid Cheri's tweet was.
Mm-hmm.
Like you did 90% of the, because it was okay until you rolled up and just made, you should have been playing Cheri.
Well,
honestly,
he always horns her.
You made a compelling
He
case.
horns her. I don't think anybody ever, I think.
That's the thing is, I think.
You know what? I'm with you. This table is Lee's fault. The tech team always gives him Cheri.
So see, now Duncan's making good winning.
Yeah.
So I think Duncan made good arguments just now, and that's why I'm going to give him round one.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Wow.
Wait. I did not see that coming.
And I want the bailiff to maintain
Hold
order
on.
in this court.
No.
We're going to move
I
to
just
round
want to
two.
make sure, just so I have this
There's
right
no
on
questions.
appeal.
There's no appeal.
There will be. Cheri's tweet defeated that of Steve Schmidt.
No. I think when it comes to is the people playing the game. It's not the content. We've all had to stretch content, good or bad.
Okay, this is a new
think
precedent.
Duncan did a way better job presenting the case. And that's the thing.
Hold
is
on. So
there's
I
a
can
reason why
jump in if he has a particularly good tweet and make a good point and win the round for my competitor who does not have that tweet.
No, I think he just won round
That's
one.
an interesting precedent.
That's why it's
interesting. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play this
it's
way.
wild.
I can't wait to play this way. This is a kangaroo court.
Okay.
You should be ashamed.
But in fairness,
Do I have a
to me,
bailiff? Is Ashbrook awake? Someone get Grandpa.
Holmes, in fairness
We're
to
live,
me,
Grandpa.
I helped you in round one only because the game is more important than who wins.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate your integrity and commitment to the game. I wish you were judging this
Duncan won
particular
round
court.
one.
Thank you.
And we're going to move on to round two.
Fantastic.
Where Duncan leads.
Thank you, Judge.
Both of you suck.
Okay. I want to stay on the theme of Steve Schmidt's
Of stealing my victories? Okay.
incredible graphic design work with submission number 15, please. Okay, I'm going to read the tweet first.
Oh my God.
Donald Trump is blaming everyone else for his failures. Biden, Obama, mysterious vandals. I break down why Trump is not fit to serve as president of the United States. Wow, what a unique take. On the eve of America's 250th anniversary. And then he links to the YouTube. But what I really love about this submission, the reason why I am playing it in this game, is in the graphic, it says not fit to serve, and then it has a giant arrow to Donald Trump.
Just in case.
In case you thought maybe Steve was talking about himself, you must know he means Donald Trump, in case that was not clear.
That is hilarious.
Does he have his eye on 28?
I really don't know.
That graphic is hilarious.
It's
He's
hilarious.
like, I want you to know, I'm not the guy who's not fit to serve.
I'm not fit. He's not fit.
That's amazing.
Is that like a shattered American flag in the back? Like, what is that?
It's overwrought, the amount of graphic design that went into this. It's completely
But also, I love how, even for himself, he chose such a horrible photo. Like, he looks like shit there. It's just like,
in fairness, he doesn't have a lot to work
true.
with.
He doesn't have
I mean,
a great angle to pick from.
Yeah, it's not like, wear a Hamas mask and he'd be better off. Okay. again, I'm going to go into the territory that I have not heard.
Okay.
Which I find to be compelling. Who knows with this particular court. Exhibit 4. Trump brags about the billions he saved on Social Security during the pandemic when he killed all the grandmas and grandpas.
It's a weak take.
Are you kidding? That's a weak.
Can we pull that graphic?
What?
Look at that. 1,443 views, dude. It didn't track.
Dude, wait, now we're doing views? This is outrageous.
And also, I want to say
this is a fixed.
Council is out of pocket.
This is fixed.
This dude is out of control.
Where's the bailiff?
I can't. The bailiff is rightly sitting on his hands.
Yeah.
As this court has turned into a joke.
Sitting on his hands.
I just think it's funny. I wanted to keep going.
So I have to be honest. I think, man,
there's more justice in him.
This is back-to-back rounds. This is the old fat man. This is a W for Duncan. This is a W for Steve Schmidt.
Let's go.
And a tremendous victory. Michael Duncan did an incredible job today.
Thank you.
This is how you do it, folks. That is how it is done.
I think
you did a terrible job.
It's an important moment,
especially when you have Cheri. It's like you've got the cheat code and you still can't pull.
He didn't even listen to either of the tweets. It's not like no idea. He just accused Trump of murdering every elderly person in the country. It was like weak.
I win.
And then in the context of things that never happened, that he was saving Social Security.
Tremendous win
by killing people.
By Michael Duncan there.
Let me just say, I think it's an important moment for the court in that it can go one of two directions. It can be completely lawless from here on out.
I feel like it has been for a while.
It's been pretty lawless.
And I intend to maybe explore a further edge of that envelope when I have the next opportunity. And we'll see who the competitors are.
I mean, I'm going to be a competitor. I did nothing to you.
Well, you did. You stole my win.
I didn't do anything. All I did was play the game.
It's all outrageous. Makes you want to drink.
It does.
And when you do, you need Z-Biotics. It's a new game-changing product that we use here on the Ruthless Variety program before every big night out. It is fantastic. We vouch for it. We've used it time and time again. We love it, don't we, Smug?
That's right. And the reason we love it is because it works. And it works because lots of folks, when you have a big night out, you think when I come home, if I chug some Gatorade, if I drink like 3 glasses of water, I'm going to be fine. But you still feel terrible in the morning. And the reason is it's not about dehydration, folks. See, what happens is when you drink alcohol, your stomach breaks it down and there's these toxic little byproducts. That's what's making you feel bad. The good news is Z-Biotics knocks it right out. So you have a little Z-Biotics before you go out, you enjoy, and you end up feeling great in the morning.
And it's so easy to do. It's just a little vial. You can bring it with you when you travel. We travel a lot for work and for play.
Yeah.
And we always bring Z-Biotics with us.
And we always say there's no tomorrow without Z-Biotics today.
That's exactly right, Smasherton. Because you go to zbiotics.com/ruthless to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Ruthless at the checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/ruthless and use the code Ruthless at the checkout for 15% off. All right, we got a great interview coming up, but there's one little piece of variety that I found totally compelling. There's a lot of soccer going on, and the announcers, and there's flavor to it. Like they do good stuff.
There's some artistry.
This one was electric because of the context. Clip 5.
But as we know, the English historically struggle here in Massachusetts. So what happens here today?
Dude, that is an incredible line. That's America 250 right there.
What a great take on America 250.
Well, and what I love about it is this is our World Cup. Let's enjoy it. Let's tell some goofs.
Yeah, let's have some fun.
I mean, there's so much to this when it comes to the commentating and all the discourse around the game itself that is foreign to us, right? Everything from the, commentators like Thierry Henry to like the way they're forcing us to pronounce some of the country names wrong. That's the wrong pronunciation. We're here in America. Like, is this broadcast for the people of Turkey? We got to call it Turkey. Come on.
Wrong.
I mean, like, look, I get it. Like, you're trying to reach the international audience that's the biggest fans of the game, I guess, or whatever.
They're probably not watching the English broadcast.
Probably not.
I'm just saying.
They're probably not.
Yeah.
So I just don't like it.
No, I don't care for it either, but I love what that guy had to say. Great stuff. All right, we got to get to our interview. So you probably haven't heard John Leganski before. He ran the floor. In fact, was the youngest guy to run the floor in the House of Representatives during a very tumultuous time during the speakership of Kevin McCarthy. And he's written a new book and has great stories and perspective to tell about all of that. Want to welcome to the program an old friend, someone we've known for a long time here on the Ruthless Variety program. It is his first appearance, however. John Leganski, how are you, sir?
Great to be here.
Leganski.
Yeah. Sausage King of Chicago.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I did ask the publisher about your title, right?
Yeah.
Leganski, How the Sausage is Made. It was too late in the printing process to change. But,
it was?
But maybe a sequel. I think that could be a great sequel.
Well, if you end up doing another, just take it under strong advisement.
Absolutely.
So we worked together and had been in similar circles for a lot of different years on Capitol Hill. And you have decided to take a different jot in life and become an author and tell what I have been told. I haven't been able to read this whole thing yet, but I've been told is like one of the most compelling under the dome stories that we've heard in a long time.
Thank you.
Let's just start there.
Yeah.
What gave you the motive? I mean, obviously, everybody who works on Capitol Hill, particularly in a leadership position, has thought at least once a week, if I could only write this down, people would not believe it.
Right.
You decided to.
Yeah. Yes. It was a bold move. But, I sat back after what happened, how it all went down. And I said, I have the beginning, middle, and end of this story. I think that's the hardest part. And I don't think this is a tell-all. This is not a salacious, I could have written that book. You're right. But I wanted to write a through line of what it takes to become Speaker of the House in the modern era. I think it's the most fascinating election in our politics. You have to get 80 million Americans to vote for you to be president or vice president. You only need 218 to be Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
That's less than when, takes to win a class president race or a school board race.
Right.
And they're the third highest person in the land, second in line to the presidency. We got a lot of scholarship about our presidents and those campaigns. There's not that many books about being speaker. Everyone watched the 15 ballots in 2023. There were millions of people tuning in around the world. I had a Romanian legislator say she recognized me from those votes.
Hilarious.
Really?
Pope Francis told Kevin, we had an audience with him, we were watching at the Vatican those ballots. It's somewhat similar to electing a pope, right? In a conclave.
Just
over and
waiting for the
over.
white smoke.
Exactly. So people were clearly captivated by this, political endurance test. And so I just thought that was a unique moment in our history. I wanted to record it. I thought it was a story worth telling.
Yeah.
And it's, again, like you said, it's an under the dome, front row seat from a staffer's point of view about how the House works in the modern era.
I can't imagine. I mean, look, you have to have a moment to sort of decompress from all of that.
Yeah.
And provide some perspective before you actually put pen to paper. You took a little time to sort of gather your thoughts and your notes, and then you're like, no, I'm going to do this.
Well, it helped. I had 3 months in between the Speaker's office ending and my new job. I'm at Harbinger Strategies now, a lobbying firm downtown with some of our friends. But the Speaker's office was nice enough to pay all of us McCarthy staff for those 3 months to the end of the year. Because we obviously did not know we were going to have a job that unexpectedly. So that was kind of my advance. It was winter months. I couldn't golf. I didn't have much else to do. And that was where I channeled kind of my efforts into writing a first draft. At the time, I didn't think it was going to be a book or know it was going to be a book. I just knew I wanted to have this stuff down on paper.
Like for history purposes.
Exactly.
Because you're a witness to history at the time. And it seems like in a situation like this, when Kevin McCarthy's speaker and, there's that endurance test of is he going to make it on the vote, that it's sort of like a rubbernecking exercise for the majority of people who follow politics. They're like, what is this? It's like, this is crazy. But like they don't get to see the inside story of how all this comes together. And you're sort of witnessing all of this, thinking to yourself, I got like this is like not just a book, it's sort of therapy for this.
I bet.
This part of your life, 100%. I assume. Yeah.
Yes. It was very therapeutic, but also, you said, historical. This was the first multi-ballot election for Speaker of the House in a century. It was the longest Speaker's election since the Civil War. So there was literally nobody we could even consult with who had gone through this before, right? We had to come up with, inspiration from far-flung places, but that was part of it is, and I think this could become more of a norm. I don't want it to, but I could see speakers' elections becoming more contentious in the years to come. If for nothing else, though, like I said, I wanted the future Leganski that's in that office and running the floor for the soon to be speaker to have some sort of playbook to follow, because we had nothing to go off of.
Yeah, so you're running the floor for Kevin McCarthy. This whole thing goes down. Obviously, a very raucous conference in this particular moment in time. You had to always, even from the beginning of Speaker McCarthy's tenure, there was always this group of troublemakers, so to speak, who were just like constantly making life uncomfortable for you all, trying to get everybody on the same page for everything. You did your very best to try to keep that at bay and did it for longer than I think most people thought possible. But this whole thing comes down now, and you're in the moment where you realize this is like going to be a fight and an existential one. I got to imagine like the blood pressure's pretty high at this stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I lost 10 pounds that week. I don't have 10 pounds to lose. Yeah. People deal with stress different ways. That was mine. I just kind of stopped eating. I subsisted on smoothies for a couple of days. We learned a lot though in 2015. Kevin ran for speaker and came up short that time. I think we had the votes at that time, but he decided to step back and said, I'm not going to put the conference through another tough vote after John Boehner left for my own sake. We did not make that same call in 2023. This was, no holding back, nothing to lose. We're never going to quit. And that was what Kevin said in the morning of the first vote. He said, I don't care if I have to find my last 5 friends here. I won this majority. We're going to fight it. I'm never leaving. I'm never leaving. That said, and you'll find out in the book, there were moments of doubt. Yeah. The second day of votes, we came into the office and I felt this. I texted a colleague. I said, it feels like the walls are closing in. I just didn't feel like there was a way out. And Kevin had a conversation with some of our senior staff and said, guys, I think we need to talk about a will, putting a will and testament, a last will and testament in place here. Who could be or should be speaker if it's not us? And it wasn't a long conversation, but it injected some urgency into us to say,
you're like, oh gosh,
this could fall apart.
Yeah.
And we kept hearing that all week. There's going to be 5 that leave you on this ballot. There's going to be 10 that leave you on this ballot. And, I was fearful of that. Thankfully, it never happened. But that was in the back of our minds is Congress abhors a vacuum.
Yes.
And that was a vacuum. And I didn't think we had much longer to hold out before they said, you gotta pack it up.
Yeah.
How much of this, thinking of those folks who were opposing McCarthy on all of those ballots, how much of this was on principle and how much of this was just personal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort them into 2 camps. One of the book's chapters is called The Opposition. And I have 2 camps. There's the maybe Kevins and then the never Kevins. Okay. Yeah. The maybe Kevins are your folks like Chip Roy, who I think was like the center of gravity in the Freedom Caucus, Scott Perry, Andy Harris, others. I think they are and were trying to get more influence for their group. And that's another dynamic I think we're going to have to watch in the years to come, where the House is becoming kind of a parliamentary system. That's what that week was really about, in my opinion, was it was us trying to cobble together a majority like other parliaments do around the world. Because we had 200 or so Republicans that were traditional and then 20 or so Freedom Caucus, America First, however you want to characterize them. So there was a group of that was maybe call it 10 to 15 who I thought were working in generally good faith to try to just get more influence for their group, right? Then there was the last 5 or 6, the never Kevins. That was Matt Gaetz. That was, Andy Biggs, et cetera, where I still don't even really know what their objection was, but it was nihilism. It was, I'm a no. I'm just going to say any other name than Kevin. I want to cause chaos. And so we had to kind of cut around them. But there was nothing that they wanted, they could give. It was definitely a personality-driven thing. Yeah. And so, we kind of had them as a cancer that we needed to extract.
And for the listeners who aren't familiar with leadership elections, the House and the Senate operate very, very differently in this regard, in that the leader of the Senate is simply elected by a majority of their colleagues.
Yes.
And that is it.
Yes.
Speaker of the House is elected by the entirety of the House of Representatives.
Yes.
In the case that you found yourselves in, you have a united Democratic opposition to anything that the Republicans want to do, something that persists to this day. You could cure cancer and you'd have a united Hakeem Jeffries conference in direct opposition to that very thing. And so what you're dealing with is just almost unanimous support of your own conference in order to just simply elect a Republican Speaker of the House, whomever that might be.
Yeah.
which is a wild proposition. I'm so glad you wrote this book because of that, because I don't think that component of American politics gets discussed enough.
Yeah. And it's definitely more acute on our side of the aisle. I mean, the House Republican Conference is a cannibalistic bunch. We chew up and spit out our leaders. You know, Newt Gingrich, a man I admire, he gave an acknowledgement and a blurb for this book. He led Republicans out of the wilderness from 40 years. And they discarded him in 4. Boehner, Paul Ryan, Kevin, it's a cannibalistic bunch. I do note, however, in the book, the one change that we could make if we want to get away from this system is you could do something similar to the Senate, where you make the speaker just the longest tenured member, like your Senate president pro tem, and they're just ceremonial. And you vest all the power and the budget and the staff and the majority leader. And then they're just subject to a simple majority ballot. We might have to get to that point at some day because you can't have your leader be subject to, having 100% unanimity every day of the week.
Well, and in large part because of what a legislative body is. Right. I mean, there are certain trains that need to run no matter what in order to keep your American government open.
Yeah.
And if you are leading the majority conference, you have to make the requisite sacrifices and compromises in order to make those trains run, no matter how good you are or bad you are. Yeah, that has to be done. It's why it's like one of the most thankless positions in politics, and that both sides almost by definition have to hate you because your job is to make things happen. And nobody wants to make things happen that aren't like exactly what they want.
Well, we always joke there was always the hope yes, vote no caucus. They knew we couldn't default on our debt, right? We do not want a global meltdown of the world economy, but they just don't want to vote for it and answer for it back home.
Totally.
But they're happy to let you vote for it and do it. And even Matt Gaetz said this about our debt limit deal with Joe Biden, just the largest deficit reduction bill in history. He said, it's like a kidney stone. You just got to pass it and move on. I mean, they get it. They know in their heart of hearts, we got to do these things. We can't have the government closed forever. We can't default. They just don't want to vote for it and answer for it. And like
it's
you
really
said, it's
a sociopathic behavior, though, if you think about it.
My lawyers have told me not to comment on his psychological
on
or
the
physical.
advice of counsel. But it does lead me to, I guess, to another question. You're talking about how we've sort of become a parliamentary system here. And this has been a problem on the Republican side, but I look around the country at these DSA Democrats
New York
winning all these primaries, and I have to wonder, given redistricting and the new census and where the maps are and how small the actual competitive parts of the congressional map are, like probably thin majorities here for this foreseeable future, and you have to wonder, is the Kevin McCarthy situation with all the ballots the new normal moving forward?
I think it very well could be. And the elections we saw this week in New York, I have New York Democrats telling me, don't worry, Hakeem will get them. I can tell you in that office, they are sweating, right? We were sweating every single time we heard a member come out and say they're not going to support Kevin. And that night when the election happened in 2022 and it was much tight, they didn't even call the House that night. That's how tight it was. We're sitting there and doing the math and I'm going, oh boy. That's when I started taking the notes because I said, this is going to be a dogfight, So yes, I think you're exactly right, Duncan, that this is going to be a feature of our politics moving forward. I have said the Democrats are about 10 years behind the Republicans in terms of the evolution. And so let's say they're in 2016 right now where we were. And that's the evolution they're going through of a more brash, bold, not the vision I want, but it's a socialist party. And trust me, they want power. They're not coming here just to have that label and serve. They have aims. Nancy Pelosi had to negotiate for her job when she ran again for it. That was one of the comments I had in the book from one of her top floor aides. We were talking in December. And I said, I think we're going to get there. He said, I think so too. It just depends, what you have to give up. And I said, and how many ballots it takes. He said, oh, no. If it goes more than one, you're done. And I thought that was very instructive from Nancy Pelosi's staff, that's how she thought about it, that if you went more than one ballot, you're toast.
Like you need to pre-negotiate this situation.
You have to, because they have maximum leverage on the floor.
Yeah.
And so we tried. I mean, we tried all over Thanksgiving, Christmas to come to a peaceful solution. That didn't end up happening. But Jeffries or whoever leads the Democrats in the future, and all it takes is 4, 5, 6 Democrats, Socialists of America with demands, and you're going to have to go through them. You're going to have to cobble that majority together, and Republicans are not going to help.
I mean, Leganski, you're an institutional guy. You're a House guy. you know I'm not.
Sure.
And you know I like to throw stones across the
bring them.
Did it ever occur to you as you're trying to negotiate with these folks that you're sitting across from somebody who's like just cross-eyed and staring and screaming nonsense at you, that you're like, my God, this is American democracy?
So, yes, I kept those thoughts to myself. I'll tell you the most useful advice I got was from Andy Card, former White House Chief of Staff to President Bush. I had a really lovely conversation with him. He didn't need to do it. He spent like an hour on the phone with me when I was a young floor director. I was actually the youngest floor director in House history. I was 25 years old. I didn't know what I was doing, right? I was looking far and wide for help and advice and counsel. And I had a really nice conversation with him. And I said, these guys they're getting me down, man. They're breaking me down. They're so frustrating to deal with. He told me a story about President Bush had a big vote in the Senate, and I think it failed by a couple votes. And that night they had a movie night at the White House, and some of those senators that voted against him were there. And Andy went up to him and said, Mr. President, do you want me to have these guys removed? And Bush said, Andy, we didn't get him today. We might need him tomorrow. You know? And the second thing he told me that stuck with me forever was, guess what? They got a pin. They were elected by their constituents. They're there. You have to work with them. On the flip side, Kevin did joke. He's like, I'm the only CEO in America that doesn't get to pick my own employees, right? That's not the greatest place to be. And we found that out. But those are the pieces of advice I kept, is that, you know what, you never write someone off permanently, and they have a right to be there. And so, you know, we're the staff. We give the best advice and counsel we can, but they're the members. They have to work it out. They have to vote on it and live with the consequences.
How much of it is, you think, downstream, just the chaos component, is just downstream of bifurcated media culture, internet culture, the change in news and information consumption? Because forever, these institutions were largely governed by the relationships that happened under the dome at lunches. You know, it didn't mean that like Newt didn't get thrown out after giving them everything they wanted, but it was largely predictable in that they were dealing with these people, and you could speak to people directly. And then somewhere along the way, there became a high level incentive for people to just sort of air grievances direct to consumer, essentially, and create its own constituency well outside the house. Like, do you think that is something that has now kind of provided this new impetus behind crazy leadership fights and everything else?
Absolutely. I write about that. The last chapter of the book's called One Final Thought. It's kind of just a summary and a exposition on how I think the House looks and where it's going. And I write about that, right? Where, especially in the House, where you have, 210 now members in either party that are completely safe. Whoever they are or the D is in that district is going to win. And so the only incentive is to cater to your primary electorate, cater to your base. And what sells to them? These sugar high votes, motions to vacate, motions to expel, motions to censure, contempt, et cetera, et cetera.
It's never to get anything done.
No.
I mean, an accomplishment is not something that you market to a primary base of either party, really.
Yeah, no, it's what is that sugar high that gets the small dollar donations, that gets me on TV that night, that gets me, in front of the base in a fighting posture. I contrast that with Marcy Kaptur, a Democrat who actually contemplated voting for Kevin. No one knew this until I wrote this book, that she actually almost crossed over to vote for Kevin on one of the last ballots we were stalled on. If she had changed her vote to president or voted for us, we would have won. But she is
you're like, that was information that would have been useful yesterday.
Yeah, it would have been nice. But, she's the longest serving female representative in history. And it took 3 Congresses for her to enact the World War II memorial legislation on the National Mall. Think about that. 6 years for probably the most sympathetic cause in our nation, right?
That's mom and apple pie if there ever was one.
And that's how much hard work and determination it takes these days if you want to actually get policy. And there's a lot of good people. I hope I recognize them in this book. Some of the folks that you don't hear about that aren't out there throwing bombs, but they need reinforcements. They need better members. They need better staff who are committed to doing the job. And it takes, again, a long time to get change, but that's what I think the job ought to be, as opposed to this, playing to the base, scalp, sell, division as profit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, there is certainly a value in this age of our politics where people feel like politics has been decentralized and taken out of the smoke-filled room and brought to them on social media and all these things, and they feel more connected to their member of Congress, whether they're Speaker of the House or, a backbencher. And there's value in that, I think, in our politics. But at the end of the day, it's a team sport.
Yeah, it's a team. It's the ultimate.
And
team
so,
sport.
that is the balancing act if you hope to govern our country. So I have to wonder, is there anything you look back on in this whole fight that you do differently?
Well, I do contemplate, we had a lot of folks tell us Kevin's approach was you catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
Yeah.
Right? That was just the approach. Some of that was preordained by the margin. Like I said, you can't write off too many before you're in the minority party, right? They did raise a couple times, like no retribution, right? No retribution. And we contemplated at the end putting a rule in our conference protocols that if you voted for or supported a motion to vacate without support of the conference, then you weren't a member of the conference anymore, right? You lose your committee assignments, you're out on your own. I think that's just a temporary solution, though. Again, if they just decide to vote no on the floor every day, you're stuck. So you're sitting in the office and you have no power. That's not worth it. I think we made the right call. Honestly, I think Kevin's legacy is going to be very favorable because the House, I think, in some ways needed to touch this stove and see how dangerous it is to have speakers flipped out on a whim. We were paralyzed for 3 weeks. Israel was attacked the very next weekend. That was October 7th. And the House could do nothing. So I think some of those members had to see that and experience it. And I applaud Kevin for falling on his sword the way he did and taking it and saying, I see the reality. These guys aren't going to vote for it if I have my name on it. But the 30-day government CR that was ostensibly the reason we got kicked out, they did 7 more over the next 2 years. So clearly that wasn't the problem.
That wasn't it.
Right? It was something else. And
it wasn't policy.
No.
And it wasn't ideological. And that's what I find so fascinating about it. We talk about this a lot and had to deal with it in the Senate side when I was there, in that there's a basic, you become kind of a student of psychology.
Yes.
When you have to deal with these
What's the real thing we're talking about?
What are we actually, what's really going on?
That is what I would do differently is I would have majored in psychology.
There you go.
At Stanford. And I write that. You would be much better off having a psychology degree than a political science degree because that's all this job is. And that's what I hope folks start to take away from the book as well is it's not median voter theorem or whatever they taught us in our textbooks. It is person to person, retail politics, knowing what buttons to push at what time. Some people need to have a joke and put your arm around their back and slap them. Some people need to be yelled at and say, this is ridiculous. You're voting no. Kevin was a pro at that. There's a lot of pros that are still there doing that. That's what it is. It's just people at the end of the day. And if you can understand people, you can understand politics.
You can get things done. I find it my takeaway from having not the same by any stretch, but a similar job over the years was it really broke down to me in like one simple thing. Either somebody had experience in team sports or they did not.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like you could tell almost instantaneously by somebody's reaction whether they had any youth sports growing up or not, because it's the idea that in order to get to a goal that we mutually agree upon is the thing that we need to do requires all of us getting to that spot and pulling our own weight to try to do that. And then you would always come across a portion of a conference that seemed not to conceptualize that at all. And in fact, ran in the other direction every single time you tried to cobble things together. And that was the basic challenge. Always confused me as to why these people wanted to get into Congress. Right. Where it's like, why you're in a people business, right? Like it's the ultimate people business. It's democracy for crying out loud. Like it's the ultimate people business. And if you don't like people, what are you doing here? And I that was always my takeaway. And I felt like you guys encountered that in a very real way. And that some people were just made to say no.
It's funny you say that because we had comments where like, oh, he was a swimmer growing up. He was a cross-country runner. He was a golfer. I'm a golfer too, but like a solo golfer, one of those youth golfers, right?
There's no team sport.
Yeah. So we did have that comment and some staff as well where it's a team sport. That's the only way you stick together and get wins. And that's one of the things I hope our party takes as well is when you stick together, I'm fine if you want to pull the bill more to the right. I got no problem with that, right? I think we have to make changes in this country. But at the end of the day, our best leverage is if we can put up 218 votes on our own to pass a bill. Because that's how you enforce your deal, right? That's how you can throw in something at the last minute. And if the minority party walks, you say, okay, I got the votes.
Right.
That was always one of the frustrations I thought we had, is we went into a lot of negotiations with one arm tied behind our back.
I mean, they were going to get something out of it because you couldn't do it on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's amazing. This is a good education. Everybody should check this thing out. Glory, Grief, and the Gavel. It's an inside guide to running for the Speaker of the House, John Leganski. I can't thank you enough for writing it. I can't wait to read it. It's a great summer.
Thank you. Thank you for having the program. I appreciate it. It's on Amazon, everywhere books are sold. And let me know what you think. Let me know what your viewers think. I'd love to hear the reaction. And this is a book for your listeners. This is the book I would have wanted to have read when I was a senior at Stanford coming back to DC. Yeah. Learning the players, learning the procedures, from I think a very informative, humorous at times, conversational way. This is how you understand how the House works, and I can't wait to hear the reaction.
Oh, you're the man. Leganski, good to see you, bud.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I mean, what a great personality this guy is. Yeah. You know, the first time you meet him, you're like, you're a cop, right? Leganski, you're a cop, right? Yeah. He's like, no, not a cop, worked in Congress. And you're like, what happened? Duncan has so many great jokes about how the sausage is made and everything. It's just like, this is a book that you definitely need to read if you want to find out what was going on behind the scenes all those years in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, and sort of irrespective of your opinion of Kevin McCarthy, I'm sure there's plenty of people in the listenership or viewership who are like, I'm glad he's gone, or whatever. But like clearly, this was a historic moment, and it's a moment that I think informs, and Leganski spoke to this, kind of our future in so many ways. And that's really a nonpartisan thing. It's about the nature of the job and the House of Representatives itself. And so I find that moment fascinating.
Yeah, if he wasn't a Republican, you could see this being taught at a 400 level course in universities around the country. But of course, his voting registration probably prohibits that particular material in universities in this country. But it's a great book. You got to check it out. You can get it wherever books are sold. Remember our question of the day. What's the worst joke you've ever heard? And I'm looking forward to the responses.
I would also like people to comment on the jurisprudence of Comfortably Smug. I support him, and I bet our listeners and viewers do too. Go to YouTube.
There's no chance that
leave
they
that comment and support our friend Smug.
The one thing I know about our listenership is their commitment to fairness, and what they saw here today was an affront.
This court is most fair when Smug is right.
That's correct.
The other thing they know is that the judge changes chairs every single week.
Oh yeah,
I was the bailiff this week, so I'm
you're
expecting a lot of great things over the next few days, fellas. You just got to show me how much you want to win.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell is that? What's that proposition?
I'm worried about that. We got to call HR.
Pass. I'll take the L. Okay, it's been a hell of a week. Thanks, fellas. With that, I think we did it.
I think so. Absolute banger of an episode. Gentlemen, thank you so much to our guest, Leganski, and thank you to the listeners. Remember, if you have not yet, go to the YouTube and hit that subscribe because it's more fun in video. So until next time, minions, keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs. We'll see you on Tuesday. Stay ruthless.